All right, let's get this show on the road, everybody. It is 2 a.m. It's the perfect time to talk about some NBA basketball. Specifically, I'm going to be looking back at my preseason predictions on the standings and reviewing them halfway through the season. First off, starting off the West here, this is the predictions that I had in my original video. And first of all, I'm just going to list, I'm going to have the picture of the current standings right beside my previous standings, but I'm just going to list them out. Denver, Grizzlies, Kings, Pelicans, Mavericks, Golden State, Minnesota, Clippers, Jazz, Suns, Thunder, Blazers, Lakers, Spurs, Rockets. First of all, the Denver prediction, I got that one right. Jokic alongside Jamal Murray. I think Jokic could win another MVP this year. He's playing amazing basketball, and Jamal Murray is starting to get better and better every single game, as well as MPJ. I think the additions of Bruce Brown, KCP are really good additions alongside them. And what can I say? I was right about Denver. Now for my next prediction, Golden State. They are currently 8-6. I will say, for the entire West as well as the East, all the standings are really close right now. It's Denver and the Grizzlies that are like the top two that kind of have like separated some space between each other. Meanwhile, you got 6, 7, 8 as of today are all 500. It's a very tight knit race right now. I will say I definitely disrespected the Grizzlies a bit. They were the number 2 seed last year, and I don't know why I put them so low. I guess I just thought that other people would be better than them, but they proven themselves last year. Desmond Bane has only gotten better this year, even though he got injured. Jaren Jackson has been back, and he's amazing on defense. And, I disrespected them. Number 3 right now, the Kings. I also heavily disrespected the Kings. I made a whole video on them earlier this season because I was just super impressed with their offense and just their play overall. I think Sabonis is an all-star. I think De'Aaron Fox should be an all-star, although the all-star guard in the West is super tough. I mean, you got Steph, Luka, Ja Morant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Those are your top 4. I think De'Aaron is deserving of a spot, but I think he could only get it in like the wild card situation. But I think he deserves it. The Kings are the 3 seed right now, 7 games over 500. I'm looking down because I have the actual standings on my phone right here. In my predictions, I put Golden State number 2, Clippers number 3, Minnesota number 4. Those are some L's right there, in my opinion. I mean, it's not opinion, it's the facts. Golden State were just super injured. I mean, it's mostly just Curry. Curry was out for a little while, and they dropped down, and they've just been pretty inconsistent. Their bench is kind of garbage. Their rookies have not really progressed or gotten that much run. Their starting 5 are still good. Clay has had a resurgent season, but overall, they're a really weird team. They have like the best home record and like the worst road record, which is really interesting. I think right now they're 500. I think as long as they stay healthy, they're still a contender just because their starting 5 is that good. But I do think they need to round out the bench a little bit. Clippers I put at 3. This is definitely too high of a pick. Right now they're 8th. They're as well as Golden State. They are 500. So they're basically 6 through 7, 6, 7, 8. Warriors, Wolves, Clippers, and right here I put Warriors, Clippers, Minnesota, 2, 3, 4. So it's kind of interesting that they're all still relatively close to each other, even though I put them way higher than they actually were. Again, Golden State has been kind of weird. Clippers, I just think that Kawhi and Paul George, they have not played as enough this season. There's just not a lot of consistency with that team. Recently, Kawhi has been looking a lot better. He's been scoring a lot more. So I think now they just gotta I think like they just got to get the ball rolling. They got to get a few win streaks. I think they need to get a couple. They need like a 5-game win streak to really solidify and prove themselves. Minnesota at number 4 is probably one of the more egregious takes, other than the Kings at 11. I think I was way too high on the Rudy Gobert trade. In hindsight, it kind of makes a lot more sense to think that Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns is not a seamless fit with two bigs like that. It really wasn't. It really isn't. And this season has just been kind of messy. The vibes have been pretty bad. Just from the beginning of the season, D'Angelo Russell, he's been talking crazy recently about, I don't know, getting traded and you're going to miss me and I'm an alpha male and everything. I don't really know what's going on in Minnesota. I think they can still figure it out, but overall the Rudy Gobert trade is kind of crazy looking back at it, considering the amount of draft capital they gave up for him. Pelicans, I put at 5th. They are 4th right now. Really solid team. It's just unfortunate that Brandon Ingram has been injured since November. Zion recently got injured and they've been kind of, holding on. CJ has had a good season. Right here, Phoenix Suns at 6. They were the number 1 seed earlier in the season. Let's not forget. We will forget though. Right now they are 23 and 24 at the 10 seed. Since Devin Booker went out after Christmas, they've just been kind of garbage. They've just been bad. They're not that good. Chris Paul has not been as good this season, and DeAndre Ayton, the whole situation around him in the offseason has still not recovered. The Suns still are not going to him as much in the offense, which is understandable because that's not how they want to play. But I think DeAndre Ayton, his time with the Suns, if he's not gone by this trade deadline, I think this summer he might be gone, just because the Suns need to make a change. They need to make a change, just because they can't be losing this bad just because Devin Booker is out. I know he's your best player, but it's a little ridiculous. Next up, like I said, Memphis. I disrespected them. They were 2 seed last year. 2 seed again. Dallas I put at 8. Dallas is an interesting team because for most of the season they were kind of underperforming and middle of the pack. Right now they're still only 3 games above 500 at the 5th seed. I don't think this was the craziest prediction by me, just because in my video I originally talked about how it was just Luka and everybody else. 100% that's exactly how the season has been going. Dinwiddie and Christian Wood are cool guys to have around Luka, but there's not a true number 2 option beside Luka. He's put up insane numbers this year. He's had like 3 50-point games. He had that 60, 20 rebound, 10 assist game. Triple doubles everywhere. He's averaging like 34 points. He could be an MVP. He is an MVP candidate. I don't know about the whole MVP race in general. I need to make a video about that because it is quite hectic. But I don't think this is the worst prediction. Dallas, they are a 5th seed right now, but it's not the most stable. Lakers at number 9. This is far too kind. They are currently the 13 seed. They started out awful. I made a video about them very early on in the season because they were garbage. They're still pretty garbage. Anthony Davis, when he was healthy, was amazing for like a 10-game stretch before he got injured again. I got to give props to LeBron, and LeBron is amazing. LeBron is amazing, guys. LeBron is really good at basketball. Portland, number 10. Right now they are number 12. Portland is just mid. It's cool. Anthony Simons is cool. I think the Jeremy Grant trade was a good trade for what you gave up. But I think building around Dame, it's just not enough. Like I said in my original video about the West, other teams are better than them. And that is still currently standing true. They are 3 games under 500. I don't think they're going to trade Dame. It's very clear that unless Dame asks for it, they're not going to trade him. So they're going to stuck being mid. It is what it is. Sacramento at 11, like I said earlier, huge disrespect on my point. but I did not really expect them to be this good. Houston at 12, they're awful. They are 15, 10, and 36 right now. Jesus Christ, I think they've lost 11 in a row. I really like Alperen Sengun. I think Jalen Green. I think Houston as a whole is kind of a mess, but I really like Sengun. I like the way that Sengun runs. I feel like he runs like a toddler. The way that he runs, he looks like a toddler running, like he just started walking for the first time. I really like him though. I really like his passing, his post game, his footwork is amazing. I think, like other players have said, that Houston needs to run through Sengun more and needs to play more minutes. I just think that when he runs, he looks like a toddler walking for the first time. Oklahoma at number 13. They're right now number 11. Shea is a monster. He's almost averaging 30 points still. Incredible player. OKC doing much better than expected. I thought with Chet being out for the entire season that they would still commit to the tank, but Shea is too good for the tank. Josh Giddey has also been ramping it up. Utah number 14. Utah has been the surprise of the season for the West. I mean, they were the number 1 seed for a while. Lauri Markkanen is an all-star, which is crazy to say. I had absolutely no expectations of that happening. Whatever Lauri Markkanen has been doing this season is what I thought that God, I forgot the name of the other guy, Colin Sexton. Everybody was saying that when Colin Sexton got traded to Utah that he would be like taking up all these shots. He could be maybe an all-star, because it would just be him having the ball. It turns out that was Lowry, guys, and he put up like a 49-point game. He's been putting up 30-point games, shooting the ball well. Utah has a lot of good players. I think that they are definitely a trade deadline team. I feel like they should sell a bit just because they have a lot of high value players that other teams would want. And then San Antonio at the bottom, they are 14 instead of 15. Whatever, they're bad. Looking at the East right now, this one I got a bit more correct than the other one. I got the top 4 completely correct, not in order. I'm close though. I put Philadelphia at number 1. They're number 2. They're a really good team. Joel is really good. James Harden's having a good season. They started out, I think I heard that they started out 12-12, and since then they are 17-4, which is insane. Like, that's actually insane. James was out for a month. Tyrese Maxey was out for a month. Those 2 guys are on my fantasy team. That hit me like a freight train truck at the beginning of the season, man. It was so bad. I lost so many. I lost like 3 weeks that I could have easily won if I had James and Tyrese playing on my team. Anyway, I bet the Sixers probably thought the same. But now they're pretty healthy. They've been on a roll at 17-4 in their last however many 21 games that is. The Celtics are the number 1 seed. I had them at 3. I probably should have put them a bit higher. Tatum and Brown both averaging, I think Brown is averaging 27. Tatum is averaging like almost 30. Their 3-point shooting was amazing this season. Their defense is still really good. Milwaukee at number 2. They're number 3. Milwaukee's a really interesting team because Chris Middleton has been out the entire year. He has not played very much at all. Jrue Holiday has been in and out. Giannis recently has been in and out. They started off really strong offensively, but then since then their offense is kind of mid. They don't really have good 3-point shooting right now. Their defense has still held up. Brook Lopez was an early Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and Giannis was just doing Giannis things, averaging 30, the usual. It's pretty impressive that they're number 3 seed considering all the injury and their awful 3-point shooting. I think that they are a team that needs to trade at the deadline for something to boost up their bench a little bit, to just boost them up a little bit offensively. I also think health, once they're all fully healthy, that'll be a big part, to pick up their offense a bit, but I still think they need a bit more 3-point shooting, whatever. Cleveland, number 5 right now. I have them at number 6. you know, Donovan Mitchell trade is the best trade of the offseason. Instant impact. Evan Mobley tonight just had like a 38-point career high game. Good for him. But Donovan Mitchell trade was an instant, big, huge W for Cleveland. I think that they are a really fun team. I'm not going to talk about Toronto because they suck. This is honestly probably like the biggest miss of mine. I already made a video about how garbage Toronto is, and they've just only continued. I'm not even disappointed at this point. At this point, I've checked out on this season in terms of winning. I'm actively rooting for their demise at this point just because this team is fundamentally does not work. Their defense has kind of been mid. They were a defensive team last year. Their defense has been mid. All they do is cause turnovers and steals. But other than that, their point of attack defense is bad. They have no rim protection, and it's so bad when anybody can just get to the rim. Like, you can try and get to the rim, and you get like 3 Raptors cover over you because not one of them can effectively guard the rim by themselves. So they need to cover up on you. But then you easily make a kick out, and we give out. We let the other team shoot as many threes as they want. They hit those threes. On our side, we were not hitting any threes midway through the season. A few weeks ago, we're still not really that good hitting threes. Our offense has also been really bad. Fred has been bad. We need trades. That's why I'm rooting for their demise, because we need to make a trade, because this team does not work the way it's constructed. We need to trade Fred. I'm team keep Gary, re-sign Gary, because he is one of our best shooters. He is streaky and hot and cold and whatever. But I just think his potential, especially at his age, I would much rather pay Gary Trent Jr. $25 million for 4 years than pay Fred VanVleet 30 for 4 years when he's 30 years old and Gary is 23. Okay? OG has been injured a bit, but he was high defensive player of the year. I feel bad for Siakam just because he was having such a great season. I made a video about him. I was so proud of him. Such a great season. He said he wanted to be a top 5 player, and he was playing like it at the beginning. He's been kind of a little bit right now recently. He's had a really good game tonight, but all the Raptors know how to do is lose, and lose in embarrassingly fashion to teams that are. We lost to the Bucks without Giannis and Chris Middleton. We lost tonight to the Celtics without Tatum. I'm just rooting for their demise because they need to tank. They need a high draft pick. They need to trade away these players instead of paying them. That's it. I'm not talking about Toronto anymore. Miami number 7. Miami is number 6. I don't know. I've not been keeping up with Miami. Apparently they were like playing really well recently. I don't know. I'm whatever on Miami. Atlanta is 8. I put them at 8. I just thought the other teams were better than them, which is true, but they also were just really messy this year. The DeJounte and Trey tandem has not really been the most seamless fit right now. It's kind of been, taking turns doing the offense, doing the pick and roll. Trey's efficiency this year has been really bad. They've been better recently, but just the vibes overall. They need to trade John Collins. John Collins has been on the trading block for 4 million years. Trey has had beef with his coach. The coach has had beef with him the entire season. It's just kind of messy. The Pacers are number 9 right now. I put them to be the 15 seed, which honestly is a little bit wild. I don't know why I did that. Tyrese Halliburton is an all-star this year. Unfortunately, he got injured recently, and I think Indiana has lost like 6 in a row. So they were doing a lot better before Tyrese got injured. And, he's really good. New York and Chicago, I had a 9 and 10. And right now, the Knicks are at 7. The Bulls are at 10. The Knicks are cool. Not really. The Knicks are the Knicks, but they're playing pretty decent. Julius Randle has had a bounce back season overall. The Bulls, I don't know. They're kind of just mid. I don't like using that word. It's a really lame word, but they are. They're kind of mid. It is what it is. Washington 11. They are 11. I got that one correct. I have not watched a single Washington Wizards game this season. I'm not gonna lie. I don't care for them, bro. I don't want to watch Bradley Beal. As good as he is, I hate his contract. It's way too much money. I don't think Kristaps is gonna stay there much longer. I think Kuzma's gonna leave this season. They're talking about trading away Rui Hachimura, their young guy. I don't know why they would do that. I just think that they should have traded Bradley Beal like 3 years ago when he was averaging 30 points per game instead of keeping him, and now he's averaging like 23 points or whatever, and they're just mid. And, you know, whatever. Detroit, I had 12. They are 15. Yeah, Kate Cunningham got injured, and they've just been garbage. Orlando, I had a 13, and they are currently 13 right now. But Paolo Banchero has been really cool. He's been really good. And Bol has been fun. You know, is Bol. 14, I had the Hornets. And Charlotte over here, I had 14 as well. They've also just been completely garbage. LaMelo is like their only bright spot, but he's played like 10 games this season. He was immediately injured before the season. He played, and then he got injured again recently. So actually, my predictions are not that bad in the East, other than honestly the Raptors, which, of course, you know,